They called her the big little star, a voice that soared beyond her years, a presence that commanded silence, and a name that echoed far beyond the glittering stage of America's Got Talent. But the bright lights of the spotlight often cast long shadows behind them. Celine Tam, the prodigious singer who once left millions speechless with a single note, has walked a path that's far more complex than the world ever imagined. In this emotional and powerful story, we explore the girl behind the voice and the truth behind the dream, one filled with heartache, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of joy. Before the cameras ever rolled, music lived in Celine's bones. Born on November 22, 2007 in the vibrant city of Hong Kong, she was destined to sing. Her father, Dr. Steve Tam, wasn't just her parent, he was her first audience, her mentor, and eventually her coach. A lover of music and a dedicated teacher, he noticed something extraordinary when Celine, just 3 years old, belted out, "My heart will go on" from the back seat of the family car. It wasn't just cute, it was controlled, emotional, and surprisingly mature. That moment wasn't an isolated spark. It was the ignition of something far greater. Celine's household was a symphony of talent and passion. Her mother, Zy Minchin, ensured the home was always alive with music. And her younger sister, Dion, named after the very same legendary singer as Celine, added to the musical harmony. From day one, Celine's family was a source of strength and stability, wrapping her in a cocoon of encouragement while gently pushing her toward greatness. By age 5, Celine was already captivating local crowds at community talent shows and contests. Her voice, both soft and commanding, had a rare ability to move people. It wasn't long before she caught the attention of wider audiences. Her appearance on China's Let's Sing Kids introduced her to a national viewership. Though young, her command of the stage and her ability to channel deep emotion through song set her apart. Her participation in Britain's Got Talent in 2015, though brief, became another stepping stone in her journey. But it was 2017 that changed everything. At only 9 years old, Celine stepped onto the stage of America's Got Talent and into the hearts of millions. With her parents and sister watching anxiously from the wings, she stood beneath the dazzling lights, facing the judgment of Simon Cowell, Heidi Klum, Mel B, and Howie Mandel. Her song choice? My Heart Will Go On, the same tune that once made her father pull over his car in awe. This wasn't just a performance, it was a full-circle moment. As she sang, time seemed to pause. Her control, clarity, and expression belied her age, and by the time she hit the final soaring notes, there was no question. Celine Tam was a star. The room erupted in applause. Her family embraced backstage, tears streaming down their cheeks. And then came the moment that sealed her place in AGT history. Guest judge Laverne Cox hit the golden buzzer. Confetti fell like magic, Celine's eyes widened in astonishment, and the entire world stood still for just a second. That performance became an internet sensation overnight. Millions watched. Millions cheered. And suddenly, Celine was more than a contestant. She was a global symbol of raw, untamed talent. But success, especially for someone so young, can be both a gift and a burden. The life that followed was dazzling but difficult. With new fans came new pressures. With growing fame came growing expectations. And behind the flawless vocals and sparkling smile, a young girl was trying to hold on to her childhood. Following her AGT success, Celine dove deeper into her music career. She performed at high-profile events across Asia and North America, sang duets with renowned artists, and even released her own music. Her social media following ballooned, and she became a teen icon to fans around the world. Yet amid the applause, she faced a whirlwind of challenges most children never encounter. There were long hours in rehearsals, intense public scrutiny, and the emotional strain of constantly needing to outdo her last performance. Fortunately, she had her family. Dr. Tam remained the anchor in her fast-changing world. He opened a vocal academy, not just to support Celine's growth, but to foster other young talents. Still, much of his time and energy was poured into guiding his daughter through the storm of early fame. He wasn't just teaching her how to sing, he was teaching her how to survive. Despite the obstacles, Celine never lost her passion. If anything, the ups and downs strengthened her resolve. Her semi-final performance on AGT was another emotional high point. She initially chose How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, a powerful ballad by Michael Bolton. But in a bold move, she changed her song at the last moment to How Far I'll Go, from Disney's Moana. The lyrics mirrored her journey, a young girl navigating the waves of fame, pushing forward with courage and self-belief. Her performance was heartfelt and radiant, touching the judges and audience once again. Still, there was heartbreak. The pressure of the spotlight, the need to constantly evolve, and the pain of growing up in front of the world began to take a toll. She was no longer just a little girl with a dream, she was a young performer trying to find herself in a sea of expectations. But even in those moments of uncertainty, Celine's love for music never wavered. Her voice remained her escape, her weapon, her way of expressing what words could not. The first part of Celine Tam's story is a stunning reminder that talent alone is never enough. It takes resilience, love, and relentless hard work to turn a dream into something lasting. As she continues her journey beyond the AGT stage, one thing is clear: the voice that once stunned the world at age 9 still has much more to say. Celine's path beyond the AGT semi-finals wasn't free from challenges, but it revealed her determination to grow through heartbreak and emerge stronger. Though she didn't make it to the finals, her semi-final performance left an indelible mark. Simon Cowell applauded her evolution as a performer, noting how her risk-taking choice of "How Far I'll Go" displayed courage and artistry. But Mel B disagreed, criticizing the song as too theatrical, lacking emotional depth. The contrast in opinions highlighted how subjective artistic judgment can be, and how even the best performances sometimes falter under the weight of expectations and differing tastes. Celine didn't win the competition, but she won something even more lasting: resilience. Her exit from AGT didn't derail her career, it amplified her drive. Her fans remained loyal. Her family, always by her side, continued nurturing her growth. Back in Hong Kong, she was welcomed as a hometown hero. Her performance at the 2017 Miss Hong Kong pageant reignited the magic of her AGT debut. The crowd cheered, the notes soared, and Celine stood tall as a new ambassador for musical talent in Asia. She went on to perform at the Chinese show Singer 2018, where she faced off against professional artists far older and more experienced. Yet she held her ground with poise, delivering songs filled with emotion and skill. Her collaborations also gained traction, especially her moving duet with Jeffrey Lee, "You Raise Me Up," which garnered millions of views and touched hearts worldwide. The harmony in their voices, the power of their message, and their undeniable chemistry spoke volumes about the kind of artist Celine was becoming. In 2019, she returned to the global spotlight on World's Got Talent, a show that brought together some of the best performers from the entire franchise. Once again, Celine rose to the occasion, enchanting audiences with a mix of innocence and maturity. Though she didn't take home the top prize, she walked away with something just as valuable: recognition, growth, and a reinvigorated passion for her art. Celine leveraged social media to stay connected with her fans. Her Facebook and Instagram accounts became digital stages, where she shared not just performances but personal insights and moments of joy. Her transparency and warmth made her even more relatable to young fans, who saw not just a star but a girl navigating the same hopes and fears they had. Her story is far from over. It is a living narrative of talent, challenge, and courage. From viral auditions to world tours, from criticism to roaring applause, Celine Tam continues to inspire the next generation of dreamers. And if her journey has shown us anything, it's that greatness isn't born overnight. It's forged, in practice rooms on quiet nights, in the tears after disappointment and the joy of one more chance to sing. For Celine, the stage is always waiting. And the world is still listening. Just when it seemed her path was already paved with stardom, Celine Tam chose a different, more meaningful route. One where she would carve out her identity not through overnight fame, but through tireless effort, artistry, and a deepening emotional connection with the music she performed. After her elimination from America's Got Talent, many young stars might have faded quietly into memory. But Celine was no ordinary talent. Instead of retreating, she advanced, with humility, with resolve, and with the growing voice of an artist determined to evolve beyond the boundaries of a single talent show. Her post-AGT performances took on a different tone. She wasn't just showcasing vocal ability, she was telling stories. At the 2017 Miss Hong Kong pageant, her rendition of "My Heart Will Go On" took on even greater weight. It wasn't just nostalgia, it was transformation. That song, once a symbol of a little girl's dream, had become a powerful expression of her journey and her growth. She wasn't merely echoing the past anymore. She was interpreting it, reclaiming it as her own. Celine began appearing at charity concerts, cultural galas, and school events, singing not for competition but for connection. She often chose songs with messages of hope, resilience, and love, reflections of the emotional depth she had gained through experience. She lent her voice to causes, performing at fundraisers for children's hospitals, educational initiatives, and disaster relief efforts. Her artistry became an act of service, her gift used not for fame alone but to inspire and uplift others. In 2018, her invitation to appear on Singer 2018 in China marked a turning point. This was no longer a child star appearing on variety shows. She was now sharing stages with seasoned professionals, artists with decades of experience. And yet she held her own. Her vocals carried emotional resonance far beyond her age, and her confidence was grounded, not boastful. Judges praised her for the sensitivity in her delivery, the technical precision of her phrasing, and the sincerity she brought to each performance. For many watching, it was the moment they realized Celine Tam wasn't just a prodigy, she was becoming a real artist. Her duet with Jeffrey Lee, You Raise Me Up, became an online sensation for a reason. It wasn't just the blend of two gifted voices, it was the way they looked at each other while singing, not with competitiveness but with shared purpose. Their harmony wasn't just musical. It was emotional, human, pure. This performance cemented Celine's status as someone whose talent could cross languages, cultures, and age groups. The video garnered millions of views, but more importantly, it touched hearts around the world. Grandparents, teenagers, parents, everyone found something of themselves in the music. And yet, Celine remained grounded. Unlike many who rise fast and fall hard, she showed remarkable balance. Her parents played a huge role in that. Dr. Tam continued to protect her from the burnout and pitfalls so common among young stars. He created a routine that allowed for rest, for study, for play. Celine still attended school, still hung out with her sister, still celebrated birthdays with homemade cakes and quiet family dinners. It wasn't all spotlight and soundcheck. She had a life. In 2019, the World's Got Talent competition brought her back to the global stage once more. And she did not disappoint. Her performance, a soaring rendition filled with vulnerability and power, reminded everyone why they had fallen in love with her in the first place. Even though she didn't win the top prize, it didn't matter. The applause, the tears in the audience, and the outpouring of admiration told the real story. She had grown not just in voice but in presence, in message, and in maturity. Between shows, she began writing music of her own. Guided by her experiences and her emotions, she started crafting lyrics and melodies that spoke to her personal struggles and dreams. While many young artists rely heavily on external songwriters, Celine wanted to create from within. Her first original releases were introspective, sometimes melancholy but always hopeful. Fans noted how honest and raw they felt, like diary entries set to music. Social media became not just a promotional platform, but a sanctuary. On Facebook and Instagram, Celine opened up about her journey, not in overly polished statements but in thoughtful, sometimes vulnerable posts. She shared practice videos, moments of laughter with her sister, behind-the-scenes snapshots from recording sessions. She didn't pretend to be perfect. She didn't chase viral fame. Instead, she let people in. Her followers weren't just fans. They became a community. In a world that often demands constant reinvention, Celine stayed true to herself. Her music evolved, yes, but her core never changed. Whether she was singing Celine Dion classics, Disney ballads, or her own creations, there was always the same sense of sincerity, of reaching out through the music to touch something real in others. And through it all, the world continued to listen. Now in her late teens, Celine Tam is on the cusp of the next chapter. No longer the little girl who sang on AGT, she is emerging as a young woman with vision, artistry, and emotional depth. She continues to train her voice rigorously, studying vocal performance and composition. She has hinted at a full studio album. She's explored collaborations with artists across genres, from traditional Chinese ballads to Western pop, from orchestral arrangements to acoustic duets. But most importantly, she continues to sing with the same heart that once made a judge press a golden buzzer. Her journey reminds us that talent can create moments, but character creates legacies. The entertainment industry is full of fleeting fame. Celine Tam's story stands apart, not because she never stumbled but because she got back up each time with more grace, more strength, and more fire. She has become a beacon of what it means to grow up gracefully in the public eye. Her story encourages young artists everywhere, that it's okay to cry, okay to change your path, okay to take time. That true success isn't about always winning, it's about always continuing. And while the world waits for her next big release or major appearance, Celine continues to build quietly and intentionally. Each note she sings, each word she writes, adds to a growing symphony that is uniquely hers. We may remember the moment she sang, "My Heart Will Go On," as a child. But in time, we may speak of Celine Tam not just as a girl who once amazed us, but as a woman who changed us. The journey is still unfolding. The curtain has not fallen. The music plays on. And Celine Tam, with the same clear voice and unwavering spirit, is still singing her truth, louder, braver, and more beautifully than ever.